Have you ever lain down in bed after a long day, eyes already closed, but your mind just won't stop? The list of unfinished tasks, the messages you haven't replied to, your eyes still sneaking a glance at your phone, a part of you still running, even though your body is lying still. And then, sleep comes slowly, or doesn't come at all. The next morning, you wake up feeling like your body never truly rested. Your mind feels suspended. Another day begins, even though the previous one never really ended. I know that feeling. And I used to believe that as long as I slept enough hours, the sleep would be good. But it doesn't seem to work that way. I started noticing something. The Japanese people I've met have a very unique slowness about them, from the way they eat, the way they greet, the way they fold a towel, to the way they arrange their living spaces. It feels like there is something in Japanese minimalism, not only helping them live lightly, but helping them rest deeply. A tidy space, a tidy mind, everything feels lighter. Today I want to explore that with you, not through dry philosophy, but through small stories, simple changes, very real, very human. And if you're still looking for a way to sleep deeper, not through medication, not through apps, but through a gentle simplification of your daily life, then this video is for you. We'll go through 7 parts, from the spirit of minimalism to setting up your sleep environment, to small habits you can apply tonight. One of them, even the smallest, might change the way you feel when you wake up tomorrow morning. Nothing will be too difficult. Just a bit of awareness, a gentle pause, and a soft choosing. For yourself. If you're ready, then let's begin. 1. The spirit of Japanese minimalism, not just getting rid of stuff. When we talk about minimalism, most of us immediately picture empty rooms, all white tones, very few belongings. But in Japan, the spirit of minimalism doesn't start with throwing things away. It starts with understanding what is truly necessary for you. There is a very special concept in Japanese living culture called danshari, dan, refusing what you don't need from the start. Sha, letting go of what no longer has value. Rai, separating yourself from attachment to objects. Danshari isn't just cleaning your home, it's cleaning your mind. It's removing what makes your inner world heavy, whether visible or invisible. I still remember the first time I redid my workspace following this spirit. I didn't throw things out right away. I simply sat down, looked at each item on my desk, and asked myself, do I truly need this? There was a pen that had been dry for months, an old cup I kept just for display, a notebook with only a few pages written. And strangely, those tiny insignificant things were actually making my space and my mind feel cluttered. When I let go of something, I didn't feel missing. I felt lighter. The Japanese believe the outer space is a reflection of your inner state. A room filled with stuff is often not just a physical organization issue, but a sign that inside we might also be tangled. Too many thoughts, too many worries, too many undecided things. And when you bring the spirit of danshari into your living space, especially your bedroom, you're creating a place where your mind can finally rest. Truly rest. Imagine this. You walk into a room. Everything is clear. The bed is tidy, nothing unnecessary. On the table, there's only the book you're reading and a small lamp. No tangled chargers, no empty bottles, no messy drawers. The feeling in that moment is spaciousness. But not spacious because it's lacking. Spacious because it lets you breathe. And when the space is cleared, you begin to realize, maybe you haven't been losing sleep because you were tired, but because your mind was never at peace. Minimalism doesn't mean you must live extremely or own nothing. It means learning to be more conscious about what you keep, what has value, what is merely taking up space. Deep sleep works the same way. It doesn't come from what you add, but often from what you choose to let go of. Letting go of the habit of scrolling your phone late at night, letting go of bright lights, letting go of thoughts carried over from yesterday, and instead, you choose stillness, clarity, enoughness. That is when you begin to enter sleep, not just with your body, but with your mind. 2. The sleeping space, the foundation of deep rest. There's something I only realized much later. The space we lie down in every night is what shapes the quality of our sleep. And beyond that, the quality of our entire state of mind. Back then, I used to think that just lying down meant I would fall asleep. That as long as I slept enough hours, the sleep would naturally be good. But there were nights when I lay on a soft bed, thick mattress, warm blanket, Yet my mind kept spinning and my body felt tense like a tightened string. I didn't know then that what made it hard to sleep wasn't my body at all, but the space around me. Once, I had a chance to stay in a small house in Kyoto. The bedroom there had nothing special. A wooden room, warm yellow light, the faint scent of pine, and a shikibuton, a thin mattress laid directly on the tatami floor. No tall bed frame, no bedside table, no bright ceiling light or digital clock blinking through the night. Everything was low, still, and tidy. I remember the feeling vividly. When I lay down, my body didn't sink, but felt lightly supported. The ceiling felt closer, the light softer, and around me there wasn't a single signal telling me to do anything, remember anything, or worry about anything. I wasn't just lying down. I was entering a space, and for the first time in many weeks, I slept without dreams, without waking in the middle of the night, without drifting in and out of exhaustion. The next morning, I felt complete. That feeling stayed with me for a long time. It made me think about the room I was living in, about the overly bright ceiling light, about the pile of items beside my bed just for convenience, about the phone that lay next to my pillow every night. I began making changes, not many, just from small things. I turned off the ceiling light and replaced it with a soft, warm bedside lamp. I cleared the nightstand, leaving only a book and a water jar. I folded the charger neatly, put my phone on airplane mode, placed it out of reach, and one day, I lowered my bed closer to the floor, not to imitate the Japanese, but to feel closer to the ground, the way I once felt gently held in that small Kyoto room. The room no longer demanded my attention. It became a gentle backdrop for my mind to settle, for my body to believe I'm allowed to rest. When the space lets go of what's unnecessary, you suddenly realize you don't need more things to sleep well. You just need fewer things that keep you from sleeping. A gentle light can slow your heartbeat. A tidy room keeps your eyes from being pulled in different directions. A cool, uncluttered, non-overwhelming space is the subtle signal your body needs to truly rest. And from then on, I understood. The bedroom isn't just a place to end the day, it's the place where you return to yourself after everything outside has drained you. A sleeping space, even just a few square meters, if chosen, cared for, and maintained with intention, becomes the deepest place of healing. A place that doesn't need many words, doesn't need many devices, only needs the presence of stillness. And maybe, starting tonight, you can try rebuilding your relationship with the room you sleep in. Gently. No need to change everything. Just look again. And ask, what here makes it hard for me to let go? Then try putting it away, or turning it off, or lowering it just a little. Just that. And you've already given your body a new chance to truly rest. The 3. Pre-sleep habits. Shifting from running to slowing down. There are days when, even though my body is already in bed, my mind keeps running as if it's never been allowed to rest. Lying there, eyes closed, but inside, it feels like a machine still running. Thinking about unfinished work, unanswered messages, conversations left hanging, and even the things I don't want to think about, yet they keep appearing. I know I need to sleep, but my body isn't ready. My mind is still on the run. Later, when I learned how the Japanese prepare themselves for sleep, I finally understood something. Sleep isn't the destination the moment we lie down, but a transition. A gradual slowing down, from running to walking, and only then stopping. I once lived for a short time in my Japanese friend's home in Osaka. Every night, the whole house shifted into a different rhythm. No one said much, no one reminded anyone to go to bed, yet everyone just knew it was time to lower the pace. The father closed his laptop at 9 p.m., gently like folding a sheet of paper. The main lights were turned off, leaving only a few warm golden lamps. The TV went quiet. The sound of water in the bathroom, the soft shuffle of slippers on tatami, pages turning, everything slowed down, everything softened. Watching that scene, my heart softened too. When I returned home, I tried to recreate that feeling. Not perfectly, not exactly, but in my own way. I began giving myself 30 minutes before bed to not do anything important. Turn off the computer, turn off the ceiling light, switch the phone to airplane mode, pour a warm cup of water, play soft music, or simply sit quietly in dim light. At first, it felt strange, as if I were missing out on something. But then, I realized the thing I'd been missing all along was the quiet itself. Some nights, I wrote a few short lines, not to record anything significant, just to gently untangle whatever was still floating in my head. Some nights, I sat by the window, watching the distant glow of a neighbor's lamp, and felt my heart settle, as light as an exhale released at the right moment. Sleep didn't come immediately, but it came easier, as if my body, after years of being forced to shut down abruptly, was finally allowed to land slowly. If you ask me where to start, I won't tell you to meditate. You don't need to journal or take a hot bath every night. Just stop doing one thing, the thing that keeps your mind reacting. Maybe it's turning off your phone 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it's not clicking on one more video. Maybe it's sitting quietly for 5 minutes in the dark. Or simply doing nothing at all, except waiting for sleep to come. Naturally, we don't need to prepare for sleep like a task. We just need to appreciate it enough, not to do anything that shortens it or weighs it down. And if you've ever felt exhausted from trying to sleep on time, enough hours, efficiently, then give yourself permission not to try so hard. Just slow down. Tonight, before going to bed, choose one thing to turn off, one thing to let go of, and see what happens. Maybe you'll fall asleep faster, maybe not, but you'll feel something else, your mind being allowed to slow down, and sometimes that alone is enough. 4. Waking up the right way, beginning the day with calm. There are mornings when I wake up feeling like I never actually slept. My body sits up, but my mind is still floating somewhere. My hand reaches for the phone, my eyes barely open, yet already pulled into a stream of news, a message, something outside myself. And just like that, the day begins. Not with a breath, not with awareness, but with reflex. I've lived many mornings like that. Too many. Each morning felt like being swept away from myself before I even had a chance to see what kind of day it was. And then, once, I heard a Japanese friend share, "The way you start your morning is the way you will continue your whole day." I remember that time. We were sleeping in a small house on the outskirts of Tokyo. The air was chilly. Early in the morning, while I was still lazily wrapped in my blanket, my friend woke up. But he wasn't in a hurry. He didn't turn on the lights, didn't pick up his phone, didn't do anything loud. He just sat by the window, gently pulled the curtain aside, letting a thin line of light slip into the room. No greeting, no excitement. Just a very gentle state of being present. I saw the way he sat there, not like someone doing something, but like someone simply being here. From that morning on, I started asking myself, could I wake up differently? Not waking up to run. Not waking up because the alarm demanded it, but waking up to breathe, waking up to be present. I began trying. No big changes, just this. When the alarm rang, I didn't get up immediately. I stayed, breathed a few slow breaths, placed my hand on my chest, felt my body still warm, felt my breath still there, soft, slow. Then I sat up, slowly, pulled the curtain, didn't turn on the lights, didn't reach for my phone. I simply let natural light enter the room. Some mornings it was a soft golden glow, some mornings a gray sky, but every morning was real. After a few days, I realized just 5 minutes of quiet at the start of the day was enough for my mind to anchor before being pulled away. What's strange is, I didn't feel slower. I felt steadier. The tasks still came, the responsibilities still existed, but they no longer rushed at me. I started the day as someone who chooses, not someone being summoned awake. Some people might say, I don't have time. I understand. But truly you don't need more time. You just need to choose how to step into the time you already have. A warm glass of water before doing anything else. 1 minute of deep breathing. A glance at the morning sky, whether from a balcony or a small window. Or simply not touching your phone for the first 10 minutes. We've talked a lot about good sleep, but a truly complete sleep is only known to be good when you wake up and feel clear and feel whole. So if night is the time to let go, then morning is the time to begin again. Begin gently. Begin slowly. Begin from yourself before the world starts calling you away. 5. Minimalism through objects, selecting and simplifying. Sometimes, it's the small things around us that take up the most space in our minds. Every night before we sleep, we're not just lying among objects, but among countless visual signals. Things that keep the mind active even when our eyes are closed. Try looking around your bedroom. You might notice a few things that have been there for so long, you no longer register them. But your mind silently does. A pile of unresolved papers, a few decorative items bought on a whim, books you saved for later, though you haven't touched them in months. We tend to keep many things, not because we truly need them, but because we hesitate to decide. We fear throwing them away. We fear the feeling of waste, or what if I need it someday? But those what if things are exactly what make your living space and your mind heavier. The Japanese have a beautiful concept called danshari, refuse, dispose, detach. Not just physical cleaning, but a form of mental purification. When you choose to keep only what truly has value, you're telling yourself, I prioritize lightness. I choose clarity. I remember one night, after being unable to fall asleep, I sat up and looked around my bedside table. Just one small corner, yet it held a dozen unnecessary things. An old charger, a half-empty water bottle, an internet bill, 3 unfinished books, and a handheld mirror I'd forgotten about. None of them were harmful, but together, they created an invisible pressure. I began to tidy up. Not rushing, just gently picking up each item and asking, do I really need this here? And in the end, I kept only 3. One book I was actually reading, a warm glow bedside lamp, and a small lavender essential oil bottle. The rest, I stored away or let go. The next morning, when I woke up, the first thing I saw was an empty surface. Not empty from lack, but spacious enough for a breath. Strangely, that feeling made my mood significantly lighter. A sleeping space doesn't need to be elaborate. You don't need a traditional Japanese room to live minimally. What you need is selectiveness, a little intention behind every item you keep. A gentle bedside lamp just bright enough to read a few pages before sleep. A small dried flower vase to bring a sense of nature. A comfortable mattress, clean sheets in soft, neutral tones. Or sometimes, nothing at all, except stillness. You don't need to redo your entire room in one night. Start with one small spot, like your bedside table. It's the last thing you touch at night and the first thing you see in the morning. When that small corner becomes clear and tidy, you'll feel your mind subtly reorganize itself too. And if an item doesn't help you breathe easier, doesn't help you rest deeper, then perhaps it doesn't need to be there. The bedroom is a place to return to, not a storage room. The sleeping space is where you release, not where you keep. When you choose less, you are choosing more. More presence, more lightness, and more chances to truly rest. 6. Sound, light, and movement, creating a space for rest. Sleep isn't only affected by what you do, but also by what you feel, sometimes without even realizing it. Sound, light, movement, 3 elements that seem small, are actually invisible signals constantly influencing your nervous system. If you've ever tried sleeping in a room with bright lights still on, TV noise from the next room, and your phone vibrating in the middle of the night, then you already know. The outer space greatly shapes the inner state. The Japanese understand this deeply, and they've turned their living spaces, especially bedrooms, into quiet cocoons, places where everything is tuned to help the body slip gently into rest. I once slept in a small Japanese-style inn in Kyoto. It was a special night because I felt completely held. No traffic noise, no harsh lights. Just the soft wind brushing through wooden frames, a small warm lamp placed low, and a cool freshness in the air, just enough for the blanket to rest comfortably over my body. I fell asleep very quickly, and when I woke up, the first thing I felt wasn't alertness, but wholeness. The feeling of truly sleeping, as if my body had been fully restored throughout the night. That was the first time I truly understood. Sleep isn't just closing your eyes, it's creating the conditions for both the body and mind to naturally release. Light is the first element you can adjust. White ceiling lights or phone screens tell your brain that it's still daytime, unintentionally delaying melatonin production, the hormone that makes you sleepy. If you want sleep to come more easily, try switching to soft, warm lighting in the evening. Even a small night lamp or candlelight is enough to create a soothing atmosphere. Sound works the same way. Even if you don't notice it, ambient noise, traffic, phone notifications, the hum of a refrigerator still slips into your sleep and can disrupt it. The Japanese often use neutral sounds to balance the environment, water flowing, wind, or very soft meditation music. Some households use white noise machines to mask sudden sounds from outside. Even silence, if deep enough, can become a form of healing sound. A kind of silence you can feel on your skin. And finally, movement. In the modern world, our bodies rarely get the chance to slow down. Even in bed, we twist, adjust pillows, check our phones, shift positions, as if we still don't quite believe we're allowed to rest. Before sleeping, you can try a few gentle stretches. Nothing complicated, just movements that release tension in the shoulders, back, neck. This sends a clear signal to the brain. I'm done. I'm allowed to rest. If you combine all three elements, soft light, gentle sound, slow movement, you create a space of unwinding, a space where you don't need to try, don't need to prove anything, don't need to react to anything. Just be there and rest. Many people ask me, how do I fall asleep faster, sleep deeper? But instead of trying to control sleep, why not? Create the conditions for sleep to come naturally. A lightly cooled room, a low, warm lamp, soft background sound, a slow breath, a body that isn't tensed, a mind that isn't pulled away. All of these together, without effort or complexity, become a doorway to restoration, not through trying, but through letting go. 7. One specific habit to begin with, a small commitment to change. How many times have you heard someone say, if you want to change your life, start with your sleep? And how many times have you planned to try, but everything stayed the same? Change isn't easy, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. The problem is, we often try to change too much, too fast, overwhelming ourselves until we give up. Japanese minimalism doesn't begin with big changes. It begins with one small action, repeated every day, with attention and patience. So, if you want better sleep, a calmer mind, a lighter spirit, where can you begin? I suggest one simple, gentle, completely doable habit, something you can apply tonight. 30 minutes before bedtime, turn off all sources of stimulation. Yes, just that one thing. You don't need to meditate right away. You don't need to redo your whole room. You don't need to buy anything new. Just choose a time, for example, 10 p.m. And from that moment on, turn off all notifications. Place your phone far from the bed, dim the lights, and avoid anything that makes your brain process more. It's like a power switch, signaling that you're entering rest mode. I tried this habit for 7 nights in a row. The first few days, I felt restless, like I was missing something. But by the 3rd night, I began to feel different. My mind lighter, my body softer, and sleep coming more quickly. The interesting part wasn't how many minutes earlier I fell asleep, but how different the quality of rest felt. As if I had finally learned how to lay myself down, not just lie down. You can do this in your own way. Some people turn off their phone early and read a few pages. Some write in a journal. Some simply sit quietly for a few minutes, breathing slowly and observing their room. What matters isn't what you do, but that you stop at the right moment. Think of this as a gift you give yourself every night. A quiet space between a long day, a pause in the middle of life. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to follow all 7 steps in this video immediately. You only need one step. Small, but one you truly touch, stay committed to, and let it ripple into other parts of your life. Tonight, when you see the clock strike 30 minutes before bedtime, try doing this. Turn off notifications. Turn off harsh lights. Don't touch your phone. Sit quietly or do something very gentle. Then you'll notice that space, even if short, is enough for you to begin something very different. And if tomorrow morning you wake up feeling a little more at ease, remember, that isn't luck. It's the result of a choice. And you can choose it again every night. We often think big changes are needed to live differently, but in truth, one small habit, practiced consistently with awareness, is enough to open the door to a new life. We've just walked through a journey together, not a journey of theories or dry philosophy, but a very real journey, from clutter to space, from noise to quiet, from exhaustion to deep rest. You may realize minimalism isn't about forcing yourself to live with less. It's about allowing yourself to live lighter. A tidy space, so the mind can breathe. Soft light, so the body understands it's time to rest. A slower rhythm, so emotions have time to settle. And sleep, turns out, it doesn't require effort. It comes when you release enough, quiet enough, and choose to step out of the spiral of endless stimulation. I don't know where you live, how busy your work is, or how heavy your pressures are, but I believe that if you can give yourself just 30 minutes each night to return to yourself, To let go of one object, reduce one harsh light, step away from one screen, then you've already done the first step. And who knows, that small step might become the beginning of a much bigger change. Tonight, try this for yourself. 30 minutes before sleep, turn down, turn off, and slow down just a little. No one else needs to know. No one needs to witness it. It's just you and the rest you truly deserve. If tomorrow morning you feel something different, lighter, calmer, more at ease, then I hope you'll continue. Keep walking the path toward gentleness, not by adding more, but by choosing again. If this video touched you, leave a comment with just one word describing how you feel right now. Calm, ease, light, or whatever feels truest. I'll read every single one, and I'll know someone out there has just begun their journey of change. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so I can continue to accompany you in future videos about minimalism, healing, and living deeply in the Japanese spirit. And if you know someone who's been losing sleep, feeling worn out, or searching for balance, share this video with them, because maybe what they need is simply a gentle reminder, a small pause in a world that moves too fast. Thank you for staying until the very last moment, wishing you a truly peaceful night and a tomorrow that begins with intention and presence.